Morning and welcome to today's New York City Council vote on the Committee of Governmental Operations, State and Federal Operations. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. Chair, you may begin.
Thank you very much. I am Gail Brewer, Chair of the Committee of Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. Thank you for being here. I'd like to thank Council Members Stevens, Dinowitz, Moreno, Zwang, and Felix for being here. We're voting on two bills. The first is my bill, Proposed Intro 87A. It combines the Archival Review Board and the Archives Reference and Research Advisory Board into a Library and Archival Review Advisory Board with 9 members. The second is Deputy Speaker Williams' bill, Proposed Intro 502B, establishing a commission to review the salaries of elected officials in New York City and make recommendations regarding those salaries. The purviews of the Archival Review Board and the Archives Reference and Research Advisory Board are largely overlapping. That's why we're doing the intro. They've been holding joint meetings since 23, and the most recent annual report, which came out of January of this year, was also issued jointly. Combining the two boards would not constitute a major change. Consolidation will save staff time and would increase efficiency while continuing to provide the agency with the same guidance and oversight that two separate boards offer. Members of the boards are supportive of this change. The combination has been a topic raised by the boards on many occasions, and members have repeatedly crafted proposals to consolidate the two boards into one. I just want to point out what they look at, for instance, are the New York City Municipal Archives that have 200 million records, photographs, maps, government documents, and they are, in my book, very important. 502B would establish a commission to review elected official pay. Elected official pay is set by law, local law, but under our city's administrative code, the mayor is required to appoint a commission to review the compensation levels of elected officials every 4 years and make recommendations to the council. With the exception of the district attorneys, the last time city elected officials received a raise was back in 2016. Mayor de Blasio failed to impanel the required commission in 2002. Mayor Adams also declined to convene one in 2024. The 10-year gap is the longest the city officials have gone without a raise in the 40 years the quadrennial commission framework has been in place. Over that time, salaries of New York elected officials have failed to keep pace with inflation and with the salaries of elected officials across the country. Legislators in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Philadelphia all make more than we do in New York, and all those cities have much smaller budgets and smaller workforces. Stagnant wages not only affect elected officials, while, as we saw under Mayor Adams, some top executives can receive salaries that are significantly higher than the elected officials they serve. For most non-executive roles, the elected official salary serves as a cap on the salaries of the employees who work under them. These salary caps can keep the city from offering competitive wages, which can keep us from being able to recruit the most talented individual for jobs. Low salaries can also negatively influence who is able to run for office. Being an elected official in New York is a challenging, demanding 24/7 job, as we all know. And officials should be able to support themselves and their families on their government salaries without needing to have a personal fortune. If salaries are too low, then elected officials' offices risk being accessible only to wealthy individuals. 502B, which we'll be voting on today, requires the mayor to convene a 3-person commission to review the compensation levels of the mayor, public advocate, controller, borough presidents, council members, and DAs. The commission would have 75 days to make recommendations on new compensation levels. The commission would send their recommendations to both the mayor and the council. The mayor would be able to send the council approval, disapproval, or modifications of the commission's recommendations. The council would then have discretion to review the recommendations and alter the compensation level of the city's elected officials. The bill would also require the calling of a commission every 4 years from 2/6. This will be in lieu of and not in addition to the commissions that are currently required to meet in 2028 and every 4 years after that. I would like to thank the following council staff for their work, from Government Ops Committee staff Jahari Frazier, Eric Cohen, and Singmi Hamid, and from my staff, Cynthia Hornig and Shula Puder, and everyone else. I will now turn it over to the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. Items are coupled. Chair Brewer.
Yes.
Dinowitz.
Yes.
Feliz.
Yes.
Stevens.
Aye.
Zhuang.
Aye.
Hankerson. Morano.
Aye on intro 87, no on intro 502B.
Thank you. Following vote. Introduction 87A is adopted by the committee with 6 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 1 abstention. And introduction 502B is adopted by the committee with 5 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, no abstentions.
Thank you very much. This hearing concludes. No, thank you. Your timing was